Kristen at Cooking in the County, and today we're going to be doing a soup and sandwich. A really quick, another 30-minute meal, and you're going to have this on the table for your family after a busy day. Here's a list of ingredients you're going to need to make your soup and sandwich. You're going to need a box of pasta, I like this kind, 48 ounces of chicken broth, some adobo seasoning, a little bit of minced garlic, just a few little carrots, celery, and a half an onion. And for your sandwiches, you're going to need a 12-pack of Hawaiian buns, some Dijon mustard, half a pound of ham, half a pound of turkey, a pound of Swiss cheese, 1/4 cup of melted butter, and an egg. Also, a little bit of powdered sugar for the top. I want to show you kind of what I do that might help you in your days ahead. If I'm planning ahead, I put all of my things together. I got my carrots, my celery, my onion, all my stuff for my soup. Everything is in this and the pot I'm going to cook it in. And I just put it right in the refrigerator. It doesn't matter if it needs to be refrigerated or not. It's all together. This is for my sandwich. We need an egg, the bread, our butter, all of our ingredients in the pan that it's going to cook in. I put it all together so when you come home, everything's already together. I know it can seem really annoying, like the night before to get this all together, but it feels so good when you come home after a long day and you can just pull this out, take everything out, get it all together, get it on the stove, and you're done. Okay, guys? These are just some of the tips that I do to help my day go a little easier. You want to set yourself up for success, and it takes a little work sometimes to do that, but it feels so good at the end of the day, I promise. Okay, first thing we're going to do is make our soup. It's going to be a chicken noodle soup with no chicken in it, but chicken broth. Okay, and these cute little noodles, I don't know how to pronounce it, but they're the cute little, they're kind of squarish noodles, just for something different. Okay, and it's going to go in this pot. Here's my onion. I only want a half onion. I think I've said this 1,000 times. I don't like tons of onion, but I want the onion flavor. Okay, a little garlic, this. Okay, so here's our pot. Put this over here for now. So we're gonna make a chicken noodle soup, but there's chicken broth. So we're gonna just peel our carrots, and I'm gonna wanna cut these, and there's only 4, just the little ones. You don't need a ton of, it's not about the vegetable, this soup, it's more about the noodle and more about the broth, okay? We're also going to be making a Monte Cristo sandwich. It's got turkey, ham, Swiss cheese, Dijon mustard on the Hawaiian sweet buns, and then you bake them in the oven. Some of you might have had this, but they are so good. This is one of Abby's favorite meals. She hasn't been feeling great. She has a stomach bug. And Josiah had a tooth pulled today, so I'm thinking this might be a good meal for everyone today. So that's what I'm making for supper, and just 3 little celery. I like to use celery hearts and really go into the middle of the stalk of celery, the ones in the middle, because they're much more tender. I just like them that way. So I'm gonna make these really small, okay? I don't want them big at all. Now, I'm gonna say it like I've always said it. This is your kitchen, you do you, okay? If you like great big pieces of vegetable, by all means, do it. I'm not saying this is the best way. I'm just saying this is the way that we like it. And especially for this soup, because the little pasta is really small, so I feel like the vegetables should be really small. So we're going to cut up these little guys here. And this soup only takes about 30 minutes on the stove, so it's not going to take long. It's not, it's going to be a light flavor because it's not like a stew, but it is a soup. Soup and stews are different. A soup is thinner. Stews are usually thicker. Usually you add a potato to thicken it up a little bit. Okay, there's our celery. That's all we need for celery. And our carrots. I mean, even if you wanted to, the night before, you can cut up all your vegetables even. You could even do that, so you're not even cutting vegetables when you come home from work. Your vegetables are all done. I mean, you got to do the work eventually at some point, but sometimes you just want to do it at a different time where it's a little bit easier. So I'm doing these carrots really, really small. Okay. It's going to take a minute. It's going to make a pretty good sized soup. I think I'm going to be using the big container of chicken broth. I think it's 48 ounces. Yeah. So it's going to make us a good amount of soup. Tastes great the day after, of course. Anything tastes better the day after, really, because the flavors get to sit. Four little carrots and half an onion. For me, you can do a whole onion if you want to. And I'm definitely doing this small because I really just want the flavor. I don't want big chunks of onion. Now, first thing we're going to do is saute the carrots, onions, and celery with a little bit of garlic and a little bit of olive oil. Okay. Maybe if we turn the right oven on here. Okay. Okay, I got the right burner on now. A little bit of olive oil. Then we're just going to saute our vegetables. Get them a little bit soft. Those onions cooked down. I mean, just that little bit of vegetable. There's still quite a bit of vegetable here. But like I said, the soup is more about the broth and the noodle than it is about the vegetable in this soup. Gonna add a little bit of my salt, pepper, and garlic. And I'm gonna add a little bit of minced garlic. Not a ton, but enough for a little bit of flavor. Just a little bit. And we're gonna let that saute. I'm gonna say about 5-10 minutes. Get that kind of cooked down. There's Murphy. Okay, I'm gonna let that cook down and we'll be back. Okay, it's been about 8 minutes since I've been sauteing this. And you can see at the bottom of my pan, it's starting to get some like little brown. It's not burning, it's just turning brown from the oil and the vegetables. That's what you want because that's where your flavor is. So now is a good time to pour in your chicken broth. 48 ounces of chicken broth. Use the kind you want. Use homemade if you have it. That would be even better. But this is for quick. This is for a weeknight meal. Something quick for you to have for your family. So that's why I am choosing the box broth so you don't have to worry about it. I just want to scrape off any little things in the bottom because that's where your flavor is for your broth, okay? Put the rest of this in. And once this comes to a boil, then we're going to add in just a half a box of this, not the whole entire box. Just, what is this? This is a pound. Okay, so just a half. Also, I gotta get this heat back up. Nice. Okay, also for me, what I like in my chicken soups, chicken stews, is this adobo seasoning. It just has some turmeric and oregano and black pepper. I love the flavor it gives my soups. It also gives it kind of a yellow. It's the turmeric, obviously, the little yellow. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit. Okay, you don't have to use this. You don't have to do anything that I do. These are just suggestions. That's all it is. Okay, so I'm going to wait for this to come back up to a boil so we can put our macaroni in. You're going to cook it. This says to cook normally for 11 minutes. You're going to let this boil for 5 minutes. Then we're going to take it off, put the cover on, and we're just going to let it sit, okay? Then we're going to make our sandwich because we don't want the noodles to overcook, and we want our soup to get some of the flavors going as well, okay? So we're just going to wait for this to get back up to temperature. Get my cover. I have always heard a watch pot never boils, and I believe it's true. I'm probably the most impatient person in the kitchen, just waiting for the chicken broth to come to a boil. Okay, our chicken broth is almost up to boiling. And we're going to put these, half a box. You can see just how teeny these little pastas are. They're so cute. I should have made my vegetables even a little smaller, I think. It'll be fine. Just waiting for it to boil. And I'm going to pour half of this in there. And we're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes. While we're doing that, we're going to work on our sandwiches. Okay, now we're going to time this for about 5 minutes. Okay. Five minutes. So we're going to work on our sandwiches. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Now we're going to work on our sandwiches. We now see all of our things are all in here. We've got them all together. Okay. Butter. I'm going to get a piece of tinfoil to put in here. You don't have to use tinfoil, but in my experience with these sandwiches, they kind of sort of like to stick, and it's so much easier to pull them up, to cut them after you're done. So I'm going to use tinfoil, but you do not have to, okay? I'm going to use a little spray to help everything not stick. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is take our Hawaiian buns out of the container. Did you know that this container is so you can put them in the oven and warm them up? I had no idea. I didn't know you could. I didn't know that that's what you were supposed to do with Hawaiian buns. I had no idea. I don't know how. When did I find out? Oh, right here. It says heat, eat, and enjoy. Remove the tray of rolls from the bag and place the tray directly in the oven for about 3 minutes. Who knew? We just ate them. Okay. We're going to, I'm going to try my best. I'm not the best. We're going to keep them all together. Keep them together. Don't separate them. And we're going to cut. I'm not always the best. You think I would be making cakes and things, but I'm not. We're going to cut it doesn't really matter because we're going to put them right back together, but still. So, that's what we want. Okay. First thing we're going to do is take some Dijon mustard and put that on both sides. Spread it out. Use more if you have to. Use less if you don't like Dijon. I feel like this is what makes the sandwich, but my husband is not crazy about Dijon mustard. I love it. Okay. So that's that. We're going to take some ham. I'm going to say about a half a pound, but we'll see. You put as much as you want on there. We're going to do ham and a turkey. I can put this in our pan now. Working. Okay. Put the top on in the end. Okay. This one is turkey. Yep. So we're going to put some turkey down. Use any type of turkey you want. I wouldn't normally pick this. My husband picked it up for me. I think from the deli would be the best, but it's okay. Use whatever you have. This is a half a pound. Seems like an awful lot, but that's okay. They're going to be good and full sandwiches. Pound as well. Oh, our 5 minutes is up for our soup. I'm going to put our cover on it. Shut the heat off. So I just stirred it a little bit, shut the heat off, put the cover on, left it there. Okay, now we're doing some ham. Actually, I'm going to put some cheese. This is Swiss cheese because Swiss cheese is my ultimate favorite cheese. I'm going to put cheese in the middle. You see what I'm doing? Yep. Okay, I'm just going to pile the cheese in. Gonna have lots of cheese. Oops. With me. Ham on top. I made a version of these for my business, for my people. I did roast beef, and they really, really love those. Okay, some more cheese. Almost done, guys. I'm gonna throw this in the oven. We're gonna cover it with some tin foil. Okay. I think the biggest pet peeve of my life is messing around with packaging. Oh, it drives me insane. I don't know why. Ugh. Okay. I just hate frigging with things. I hate having to mess with stuff. Like, just open already. Maybe I'm too high strung. What I've been told. Shoot. Okay. Well, there we go. Okay. Put a couple in the middle. Okay. That's it for that. And we're going to put our top on. Hopefully I'm putting it on the right way. Suck that cheese in a little bit. Paper towel. I got a little mustard on the top. I don't want that. Make sure they're on good here. Okay. So there's this. Okay. Still got one more step. Get this all out of the way here. We're going to melt 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 cup of butter. Yep. Okay. I'm going to mix the egg with it and we're going to put it on top. So let me melt the butter real quick. My butter is all melted. And we're just going to crack an egg in this butter. whisk it all up real quick. So you just have your egg and butter sauce. Take a little brush and you're gonna brush your sandwich all with all of this batter, all of this stuff here. Okay, put it right on top. Okay. All right. Get some tin foil. Already on 375. 375. And we want this to be covered a little bit, but we don't want the tin foil to touch the sandwich. You see how I kind of tinted it? Kind of do that with your turkey sometimes, because you don't want it to touch, but you want it to cover at the same time. Okay. Okay, I'm going to throw this in a 350 degree oven for 15 minutes tinted, and then we're going to take it off for another about 15 for it to all bake up. So 15 minutes right now. Okay, it's been 15 minutes, so I am going to now take the tin foil off. And we're going to give it another 15 minutes. Then we're going to take it out. Okay, I think our sandwiches are all finished. It's been 10 minutes. Just keep an eye on your own oven. I might say 15 minutes, but your oven might cook quicker or might cook slower. So just keep an eye on it, okay? So the recipe recommended 15 minutes, but it's been 10. And they're definitely done, so we're gonna go with 10. Okay, we're gonna let these sit just for a second, but they look amazing and smell amazing. We're gonna finish up our soup. Okay. Soup is also done. I did, because we like broth, I added a little bit more chicken broth just a few minutes ago because I feel like maybe I put too much macaroni in, but I just added a little bit more. And for me, after any of my chicken soups are done, I add a little bit of lemon. I would normally use a regular lemon and squeeze it, but I'm all out of lemon, so I have some lemon juice that I keep on hand just in case. And again, just a little bit. It really, really changes the flavor of your chicken soup, and I think you're gonna not regret using a little bit of lemon at the very end. The soup looks great. A little bit of soup to my bowl. Try it. It's so warm and comforting. A nice light flavor. The broth has lots of flavor to it. No problems with that at all. And this was sitting for like 20 minutes. That's it, guys. A nice, delicious, yummy soup in 20 minutes. Make this, guys. It's quick, it's easy, and it's delicious. Okay, and now the sandwiches. And they both cooked at the same time, so it's not like you're waiting for anything. See, this makes it so much easier just to take it right out of the pan. Pan's already cooled down already. Now I'm just going to cut these across. Not sure what we're barking at here, but it's okay. Cut these all across. Right. Shh. Stop. Okay. I'm just going to take a minute and find out what my dogs are barking at, and I'll be right back. Okay. It was just my husband coming home. But as I was cutting them, I felt like they weren't quite cooked, so I threw them in the oven just for a second again. And then I kind of overcooked them. It's okay. They're going to taste great. And we're going to be putting stuff on top of them, so you're not even going to know the difference. So I usually give each person 2. I'll try to cut these best I can. Now my cat is whining. I think my knife is not very good. And I know it's because I'm cutting on my thing, but I had them sharpened. You think they would be sharp. So I don't use that one knife very often. Okay, there we go, finally. Okay. Now, the next thing you're gonna do is, this is another Pampered Chef thing. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by Pampered Chef, but you're gonna sprinkle some powdered sugar on top. So see, covers the brown tops right up. You're gonna put 2 on your plate without fingerprints. A little bit of soup. This is your beautiful little plate. Try one of these sandwiches. The saltiness of the cheese and the meat mixed with the powdered sugar and the sweetness of that Hawaiian bun is so good, and then that touch of Dijon at the end. Perfect. I'm gonna have one more bite. Let's try. And a little bit of soup. This broth is so good. It just warms you up. This is a great meal to make in the middle of the week when you're busy and you don't have a lot of time. This took us, maybe 45 minutes to get this all together. And you have a really delicious filling meal. So guys, if you like what I am doing on my videos, please like and subscribe and hit the little bell button so you know every time I post a video. Try this soup and sandwich out. I think you're gonna love it. See you next time. Thanks guys.